The Sharks offense might just be unstoppable now as they put up 8 against the Kraken.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesday on the Locked On NHL channel. Want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And the Sharks, the offense is good, guys. The offense might actually be really good as they put up 8 to the Kraken, led by Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith, both with multi-point games again. So we're going to talk about that, talk about the offense, look at the numbers behind this game, and talk about if there's a concern in net as the cries for Askarov continue to grow louder and louder. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. All right. Offense is fun. We had a really fun 8-5, like barn burner, mid 80s called. They want their hockey back, including the goaltending type of performance today, as the Sharks continue to score goals. 7 goals on Monday, a lowly 3 on Wednesday in a game where it felt like they probably should have scored more goals, and then come back on Friday and put up 8. This team is eating right now. And a big part of it is, one, you have Macklin, Celebrini, and Will Smith, both who are really finding their grooves right now. As the Celebrini, Eklund, and Zetterlund line continues to just do beautiful, wonderful, just glorious things. And 2, you're getting production from 3 lines right now, which is something the Sharks have not had in eons, to be honest. And I know small sample size, et cetera, but you're getting like Mikael Granlund returned today, which was great. Missed the past couple games. And he slides in. Mikael Granlund, your leading point scorer, slides into the third line. You have 3 lines right now, which are all have potential to score, right? Celebrini, Eklund, Zetterlund. We've seen that line do awesome things. Wenberg, Wenberg, Cunnin, Toffoli. We know Tyler Toffoli can score like crazy. And then now Mikael Granlund, Clean Costin, who had himself a game, and Will Smith. And the fourth line, doing fourth line. And they scored today. They chipped in today. Before we get further, Ethan Cardwell, friend of the show, one of the best people you will meet. Congrats on your first NHL goal. An absolute beauty. Congrats, buddy. But anyway, the thing, you're not having one guy do everything. The Sharks had 7 guys who had at least multi-point goals or multi-point games today. But nobody had 3 points. 7 guys had 2 points. Among the forwards, there's only 2 forwards who didn't have a point today. You're getting production from everybody. And no, I don't expect the Sharks to continue to pump out 8 goals a game. That's realistic. That's not but you can see just the transformation from last year, where every goal, every point was a struggle, to now an offense that can, maybe they're not, sustaining offensive time, but you've kind of built like a quick strike offense, right? And especially when you have young players like Celebrini and Smith who can get out and go on the transition and create chaos that way. And the Sharks are scoring that way. And the next step will be playing like you did against Ottawa, where you're controlling the pace of the game and scoring all the goals. That's kind of the next step for the Sharks. But it is good to see a team being able to score in so many ways, being able to get guys, a bunch of different guys to contribute. Like, it's just hard. Like right now, like, because normally we talk about kind of the best player of the game to start with. Like, who am I supposed to talk about? Like, they all played well, right? Especially among the forwards, like Celebrini and Smith. Will Smith now 3 straight multi-point games. Remember the like Will Smith needs to go play in the AHL for like and regain his confidence. Maybe we talked about it on Wednesday night. Maybe the Sharks knew what they had and just were being very patient. And now you're starting to see dividends from it. I still think Will Smith does not play tomorrow as the Sharks home and home here as they head up to Seattle. I still think you stick with the plan. The one thing that makes me think differently, they might play him, is one, they don't play again until Tuesday. So you have a couple extra days off here. But as again, I talked about the process, like even though you're starting to see results, don't change your process right now. I talked about that on Wednesday night. Don't change your process right now because what you're doing is working. So I think, again, don't be surprised that Will Smith has a development day tomorrow again on Saturday against the Kraken. So Celebrini, 3 straight games with goals. He has caught Michkov in goals. Celebrini's played 14. I think Michkov's played 22 games. They both have 8. Michkov, the noted scorer, like that was, we know Michkov, beautiful goal scorer. Michkov's gonna be a great player. Macklin Celebrini has already caught him in goals. Gave him a head start. He's like, I'll sit for a month. I'll come catch you. It took him less than a month to catch him. Like, you're William Eklund, another 2 assists that night. Primary assist on Jake Wallman's goal. Beautiful play that kind of cut off on the Celebrini goal. Doesn't get an assist. Beautiful play to seal the boards, get the puck out, or kind of free up the puck for Zetterlund to jump the transition there. Great play by Macklin to start it. Celebrini finishes, or Eklund finishes the play along the boards, and that line is rewarded. You're getting all the guys you want to see, guys who are going to be part of your future. They're the ones leading this, and that's why I think this offense is going to continue to evolve and continue to be pretty decent. You know, like the way this team has changed over the last couple of weeks, and especially if you look at since Macklin got back, right? The Sharks are 13th in goals for per game in the NHL since Macklin got back at 3.23. And yes, that is very much boosted by, 18 goals that they've scored this week. But still, 3.23 in the last, we're almost a month here. Again, this team last year scored under 2.5. And the goals allowed, yes, and we'll talk about the goaltending here. They've allowed 44 over that same span, which is not the greatest. They're the 6th worst in that same time at 3.38. But the offense, defense is for nerds, goal score points. You're taking pressure off your defense. And we know the defense has still got a long way to go. And we kind of talked about it. We'll touch on the defense here a little bit more. But you have to feel really positive about the direction that the offense is going. And there's nitpicking. Like, yes, I wouldn't want Luke Cunnin playing, second line minutes right now, and would be good to see someone else kind of go in, take a spot there. But the offense is working right now, and they're getting rewarded for it. And I think they're going to continue to be able to generate goals, especially with Celebrini and Smith kind of leading the way right now. Still work to be done to make it more sustainable, but I think for now it can work. It'll be interesting to see when they play some tougher defenses here, especially in the upcoming week on this big road trip. But I still think the way that they score and the way they kind of create chaos, especially in the neutral zone, it very much sometimes backfires. But I think they're still going to be able to scrape out goals this way. So we'll dig into the numbers, talk about the lines, especially kind of talk about Clean Costin some more, and kind of how he looks like he might have refound his game. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. If you want to get to the tank this holiday season, maybe go catch a Niners game or Warriors game, you need to check out Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats. And of course, you can see your seats before you buy. That way you know exactly what your view is going to look like when you get to the game. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And if you've been renting, why not get some points for you since you're paying your rent? With Built, you can take advantage of that. You can earn points on rent, one of your biggest monthly expenses. Built changed the game by letting renters earn high-value points on rent and around their neighborhood. There's no cost to join Built. As a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world where you can redeem your Built points towards. Points can be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent. You're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNHL. That's joinbilt.com/LockedOnNHL. Make sure you use our URL so that way they know that we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNHL to start earning points on your rent payments today. All right, let's dig into the numbers from this game. So a couple things to kind of keep in mind. The Kraken, 6 power play opportunities. The Sharks, brutal on the penalties today, and a lot of them on the defense, taking just penalty, not the greatest penalties. So just something to kind of keep in mind there. And the Sharks also, especially in the third period, had a lead. We're kind of, I don't want to say park the butt. We'll get to that here in a minute. But shot attempts, so we had 47 minutes of 5-on-5, 49-45 in favor of the Kraken, 52.13 to 47.87% Corsi 4. Actual shots, 23-22 at 5-on-5. Scoring chances, 23-17 in favor of the Kraken, and 9-5 high danger chances. 2.11 to 1.34 expected goals for at 5v5, all in favor of the Kraken there. So the Sharks, I think, though, again, creating opportunities, creating stuff on the rush, really helped their game today. The power play went over, but they scored like literally right after the power play for the Sharks, right after the power play expired. That power play that was one of the better power plays in terms of puck movement and speed, which is something that the Sharks will continue to kind of hone on. But 5-on-5 play, though, like it was fairly even in this game, as the Sharks, Kraken would kind of like Sharks kind of started out well. Kraken kind of started taking advantage shot wise, and then end of the first period, the Sharks climbed back into it. The Sharks kind of middle to the end of the second period, they were really in control, and then the Kraken kind of brought things closer together when it came to the shot attempts, and then pretty even. Kraken's slight advantage in the third period, though, when it came to shot attempts. And then they had an empty netter. The Sharks put things away there. But for the forward lines, so we had, of course, the Celebrini, Eklund, Zetterlund line. They played 12-13, 12 to 14 shot attempts, 4 to 7 actual shots, had 2 goals, gave up 1. Expected goals for is 0.33 to 0.31. For them, 5 to 8 scoring chances, 1 to 3 high danger chances for that line. So they continue, they're going to have some of their defensive miscues, and a couple times where that line got caught out on the ice too long, especially the end of the second period, right? Where the Kraken scored that goal right before the end of the second period. That line got stuck out there for 2.5 minutes, and that is not what you want to see. And that's going to be, especially with younger players, they're always like, oh, I can, just hang out there for a little bit longer. That, that's something that they'll need to kind of work on and iron out. But, as Ryan Warsofsky says, you don't want to take the creativity out, especially with Celebrini. And, he's smart enough player to realize, you got to live to fight another shift. And I think that'll be something that they'll continue to work with him and work with that line. But again, this line has been excellent since they've been put together. And I think it's a big key, like I talked about earlier, a big key to why the Sharks offense has really found this new gear is because now you have multiple lines who can do stuff. So Cunnin, Wenberg to Foley, 8:52 time on ice, 10 to 9 shot attempts, 6 to 3 actual shots, had a goal, gave up a goal, 0.14 to 0.63 expected goals for. So gave up a little bit more in the expected goal category, 8 to 6 scoring chances, 0 to 3 high danger chances from that line. So again, they're going to I think they're going to draw a little bit more tougher assignments, especially as you want to try to put the Celebrini line in its a position to succeed. So that's why you probably are going to see those little bit tougher numbers. And they had 2 defensive zone. That's interesting. Celebrini line actually had 3 defensive zone starts, the most. Anyway, Dellandrea, Nico Sturm, Ethan Cardwell actually played next most at 7:25. And again, when you're up 2 to 3, you can play all 4, kind of roll all 4 lines, which is nice to see. 4 to 7 shot attempts, 1 to 4 actual shots. Did have, again, congrats to Ethan Cardwell. 0.02 to 0.31 expected goals for. Gave up 2 scoring chances, gave up 2 high danger chances for that line. But again, exactly what that line is supposed to do. I really like this Dellandrea, Nico Sturm, Cardwell line. We'll see, especially with Goodrow, who's now on IR. Got put on IR yesterday, and Cardwell brought up. We'll see kind of how the Sharks navigate this. But Cardwell's the guy, if you're going to make any tweaks, Cardwell's the guy who I'd love to see up on the second line to play with Wenberg into Foley. But I get, again, with the Sharks and kind of Cardwell, what his role is. And he's very good at his role. He's already playing penalty kill minutes. So, and then we have the Will Smith, Mikael Granlund, Clean Costin line. Plays 6:54. And the good thing for the Sharks, again, when you're one, up by a lot, you're one, able to kind of roll your lines. 2, a guy like Mikael Granlund, who's played a lot of minutes. You can kind of limit his minutes, especially in a game where his first game back. Granlund, who's usually up over the 20-minute mark, only played 15:22 today, which is, you can kind of use him a little bit more sparingly, spread those minutes out a little bit more, which is what you want to see. But got to hand it, this line, got to hand it to Clean Costin. I was very down on Costin to start the season. Costin was great today, and you've seen kind of over this past week, he seems to have refound his confidence, had the Gordie Howe hat trick today. Beautiful goal right there, as as the penalty kill or as the power play expired, was able to kind of score on the empty net. A great assist on Will Smith. However, I've seen that Will Smith like kind of little flip play a bunch of times at Boston College where he flips it up and he just says, "Go get it, boys." And Clean Costin went and got it and passed it to Granlund Granlund's got that spot right there where he scores. But and then Costin comes in and kind of protects his teammates as well. Like you see why Costin's so intriguing because he's big, he's fast, he can shoot, he's heavy the way he plays, and especially on a line like Will Smith, with a smaller player like Will Smith, who maybe not the most physical guy, having a guy like Costin on that line really balances things out. And with Granlund being such a great playmaker, like this line makes a lot of sense, and they were awesome today. 654, 12-4 shot attempts, 7-3 actual shots, 2 goals for, 1 goal allowed, 0.36 to 0.13 expected goals for, 4-2 scoring chances, 2-1 high danger chances. And again, they played basically like half as much as the Celebrini line and produced just as much expected goals for. So hopefully, and I would just keep that line. If we'll see what they do with Will Smith, but I would keep that line together as long as you can, because it gives you 3 real lines here, where you're not basically trying like almost punting on a line when they go out, punting on offense. Wenberg and Toffoli have a lot of chemistry together. You're seeing Granlund can play with anybody, and I think Will Smith and Granlund. And then if Costin continues to play the way he's playing, like a lot of potential here for the Sharks and their offense. So we'll talk about the goaltending, which has been creaky as of late. So we'll talk about that here in 1 second. Get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. And you get a hunch in the middle of a game, check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, before we get into with the goaltending, which has been, again, a little leaky here, do want to thank you guys, of course, for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If your fantasy hockey team needs some help, they got you covered over there. Or go check out one of the other shows here in the Bay Area. You got Locked On Warriors, Locked On Niners, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants. Plenty of great stuff here. The Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. All right, the goaltending. And this is probably just because I'm terminally online, and a lot of people use me as a place to just yell at when they're, but anyway, I know a lot of fans want to see Askarov, and believe me, I can't wait till Askarov is on the team, but the Sharks have a plan for Askarov. And I know the goaltending in the past couple of games has been not up to standard, right? Vanacek today was, he was very good in the third period, and he made some big saves when they needed him to make some saves, and even in this game. So Vanacek, 26 of 31 on saves, 5 goals against. Expected goals against in all situations was 3. So he gave up 2 more goals than you would expect. 5 of 9 for high danger saves, 7 of 7 on mid danger, and 12 of 13 on low danger saves. And then, Mackenzie Blackwood last game, right? 4 goals on 11 shots. I know, again, a lot of fans want to see Askarov, and I want to see Askarov too. But the Sharks have a plan, and they're going to stick to that plan. And the plan's this. They haven't said it, but this is the plan. They're going to keep Askarov down in the minors. They're going to weave in some games like we saw recently, where if 1, a goalie gets hurt, or 2, They have an opportunity to get Askarov in like they did on Monday's game. But Askarov is going to be on the Barracuda for the majority of the season until they trade either Blackwood or Vanacek. So once Blackwood or Vanacek gets traded, then Askarov's going to play. And he's probably going to play a bunch of the games at the end of the season. And then he's going to be going into next year. You're going to have a 1A, 1B situation with Askarov and either a returning goalie or they'll find someone new on the market. But he's not going to play right now. They want him to They want him to continue to play well on a Barracuda team. The Sharks went out of their way to make sure this Barracuda team is very good, right? Look at the signings they made this offseason. Shannon Podorowski, Schultz, Carlson, Colin White, like big time AHL players. You have guys like Luca Cagnoni, Colin Graff, like Bordolo, like you have a lot of young guys down there. You have a lot of veterans. Like they want this Barracuda team to be good because they want Askarov to play deep into the playoffs, which is something he hasn't done with Milwaukee, right? We talked about this offseason after the Sharks traded for Askarov. I asked the girls over at Locked On Preds, why hasn't Askarov played in the playoffs? And that's kind of the one thing he needs to do. They talked about kind of how he lost his job in the playoffs. And I don't see Askarov losing his job in the playoffs this time around. But that's something they want him to do. And the best way to get to the playoffs is to win games in the regular season. So the Sharks very, very, very much want this Barracuda team to be good and to make a deep playoff run, which is fine. That way, when you call Askarov up at the end of the goal is to get like Askarov ready to be in the NHL next year, over-ripen him, right? We've heard that term from Mike Greer before, especially with guys like William Eklund. Go back to even William Eklund's season in the Barracuda. I know that's Askarov's older player, et cetera, but the Sharks could have called Eklund up at any time that season. They kept him down because they want him to, when you come up for good, you come up for good. And that's what the Sharks are trying to do with Askarov here. So, yes, that's not to say like Vitek Vanacek and Mackenzie Blackwood both need to be better. Also, the defense in front of him needs to be way better. Like Shane Wright being left wide open, like you can't do that. And I know it's on the power play, but how many defensive lapses or how many turnovers in the neutral zone or turnovers at your own blue line, and then all of a sudden it's a quickly on the other way. And yes, you would love a save there, but at the same time, the defense in front of him is not great. And we've seen Blackwood and Vanacek, I think, especially Blackwood, bail the Sharks out too many times for me to get like I'm going to be more patient with those two goalies right now because we have seen them be like steal games and keep the Sharks in games that they had no business to be in. So as much as it would be fun to watch Askarov, and I want to watch Askarov, the Sharks they're not going to do it right now. Like they want, we've seen when they call Askarov up at the end, like the goal is to get Askarov ready to be full-time NHL player next year. And that is the goal. And bouncing him back and forth, yes, he's gonna play some NHL games here and there, but that's like they want this Barracuda team to be good. And again, you still have two NHL goals. Like you can't just have Askarov up. Then like the 3 goalie combo thing, it's really hard to do. It's hard for the goalies to get into a rhythm if you're trying to split starts between 3 goalies. So until they move on from Vanacek or Blackwood, that's just going to be how it is. So I'm willing to give the Sharks goalies a little bit of a pass here. If we start to see this issue continue of them not performing up to expectations, then it's a conversation that we can have of, if it's, but So Vanacek, who made his first game back from an injury, and Blackwood, who, like I said, he's been outstanding for the Sharks since he got here. I wouldn't be surprised if Blackwood is lights out on Saturday night versus the Kraken. So, So again, let's take a deep breath on Askarov. Like, he's going to play. He's going to be awesome for the Sharks for a long time. That's the hope, right? But they have a plan. And I think with my career, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt with the plan, right? Look at the Will Smith thing. They had a plan with Will Smith. You're starting to see it bear fruit. They had a plan with William Eklund. Eklund's on his way to being like a 70-point player this year, which some idiot called. Just patience. Askarkov's going to play. So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back on Monday with a reaction to the Sharks-Kraken part 2. So make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until Monday. Bye, friends.